they want to learn everything before they go and take action.
I learned so much along the way that I kept wanting to go do it better.
Where do you get experience from is repetition. Just do it. I'm a real estate investor. I'm sharing everything I know about subject to in a way that complete beginners understand. This guy is John Pratt, our fearless novice, diving headfirst into the world of subject to real estate deals. Watch as I start him on the path. I'm your guide, Kyle Kargas, and this is Subject to Real Estate Secrets, the path from moron to millionaire.
All right, it's been a few minutes, maybe like 35 minutes. I spent really like digging into the onboarding. I found a lot of documentation, so it seems that there is a lot of support when you sign up for LOI Blaster with a good community. So I got this email just as they predicted. Looks like it was actually 59 minutes ago. I said 35. Looks like I've spent quite a bit of time here just like really understanding what in the crap is going on, which you should do also when you buy LOI Blaster. So let's look at these steps and make sure I did them. Software copy. Yes, I did that. I ran the script just to force it to give me the option to allow. You have to allow it to get the script. Now, one little thing I ran into. I have a personal Gmail. I have a more professional personal Gmail. I have a business I'm running regarding like content, like an agency. And then I have this new real estate investing business, right? Those latter two, I pay for a domain. I pay for a Google Workspace. And so anyway, we have all these emails flying around when I click on my top left menu bar in my browser and in my email. So anyway, when I software copied, when I did this first step, just something to keep in mind, it kept opening it in my personal. And I'm like, no. Okay, I'll share it with my Google Workspace for real estate investing, which is john@trustflowcapital.com. And I tried to transfer ownership. And of course, with Google, one thing you'll run into is you can't transfer ownership between a workspace and like a personal Gmail. So I'm like, no. So the fix, guys, is to log out of all the emails except the one that you intend to use LOI Blaster with. So that when you click here to download, it opens up in a new tab in the only Gmail you have open, which is your Google Workspace, your professional Google Workspace, not my @gmail.com. Okay, number 2, join the Facebook page. Very straightforward. Number 3, log into Kajabi. Yeah, they sent me a quick an email to reset my password to something that I never created. They created it for me, so now I can log into Kajabi. If you're not really sure what Kajabi is, it's an online. It's like mostly for backend, like Teachable. It's sort of like Teachable. It's a direct competitor. So that or like School. You're familiar with School. So yeah, Kajabi, they logged me in there. This email that we see on the screen right now was in my spam. So check your spam and then toggle it with a little check mark and say, this is not spam, so that Google knows that, so that maybe the next person, it won't go into spam, but certainly not for your inbox. Pro tip, they say, download the Kajabi app. I did that. I signed in on my phone. So now I can, I guess, learn on the go, even though I prefer being right here. It's just easier for me to focus and get stuff done. Number 4, they have live like support 3 times a week and then start sending offers. Awesome. Let's go into the tool. Here it is. I have not manipulated it at all, except I clicked on the tab settings. This is what we see first. And if you clicked allow on the script, you should see this menu item here, LOI Blaster. So there's file, edit, view, right? There's LOI Blaster because they have the script in this Google Sheet. When I was watching the video in the segment before this segment that you're watching now, you'll notice I was like talking in the background. You probably can't hear me because I had the Mac volume so high up. So that one guy's like yelling and I'm like talking normal and I'm like, seems like I'm muttering. What I was muttering was, it's like, I was talking about, why is it in Google Docs, right? So now I know the whole thing is a Google Doc, but with scripts that do things for you, almost like a macro. If you remember taking Excel classes in college, they taught you all those macros. But on top of that, one of the scripts is that it goes out to an outside service, which is the main part of presumably what we're paying for when we buy LOI Blaster. So yeah, this appears fully functional. I'm just going to explore here. We have step 1, 2, 3, and 4, and step 0, which is to import a list. I need to accomplish step 0. So there's tons of on Kajabi, there's tons of videos when you log into LOI Blaster on Kajabi. Really helpful stuff. Some of it I skipped, like how to import a list from PropStream. I don't use PropStream. I'm using my brain is messing up right now. Not Deal Sauce, but BatchLeads. So I skipped that video, right? But I'm very interested in importing a list. So I watched step 0, importing a list. So let's see if I remembered what I even watched, and let's import my list just to see what happens. File, import, and I'm going to go find from my computer my list. I have found my list on my hard drive, uploaded it here, and it wants me to, by default, import location, create new spreadsheet. I do not want that. I want it as a new sheet inside this sheet here. I was about to use my finger to point to the screen. You can't see my finger, but you can see my mouse. This doc, right? It's going to become a sheet. Detect automatically? Sure. It's a comma separated file. What does V stand for? CSV anyway. Detect automatically? Sure. I have no idea. Convert text to numbers, dates, and formulas. Sure. Yeah. Let's see what happens. I have no idea what's going to happen. It opened up a new sheet after the last sheet, which is called leads. So it looks like there's 31 people on my very modest list here. We did it. We did step 2, which is import a list into LOI Blaster. Give yourself a pat on the back. Awesome. And then we can go into LOI Blaster. Let's see what happens. Scan low equity leads. The intent behind my list in the first place was to find low equity leads where, hey, maybe cash leads is a happy fringe benefit, but the point here is to find low equity leads. So I'm just going to click on this and I have no idea what's going to happen. It's running a script. I already allowed it to do this. If you did not allow it, it would ask you now. Okay, so now it's saying, wait, before you scan, watch this video, then run the function again. Okay, first scan demo. What is LOI Blaster? How do we get started? Can I use it on multiple devices? Is there customer support? Okay, maybe I've seen this video.
All right, it's time to scan your first list, but before you do that, we got to make sure that all your settings are correct and everything is in place so that you can actually scan your list successfully. So, a couple tips to check on. First of all, if you look down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see these tabs. You're going to click on the Settings tab.
Settings tab.
We're going to be getting started. And we are on step 1 of scanning your list, right?
Right.
So, for step 1, you're going to see first of all, you're going to see
okay, yeah, in settings there are settings that the scan is that dictates what the scan is doing.
All these options
parameters.
So I'm just going to talk through them real quick. So property status, for most of you guys that are watching this, you're probably doing active, but you can pick whatever status you want. That's the status of the property on the MLS. Okay, so we're going to leave that as active. Now,
I don't actually know what status my list was.
Equity calculations, this is for if you're scanning a low equity list, right? So this is not a cash list. Otherwise, this stuff won't matter. But if you're in a low equity list, your equity, this is in percent. Right?
Yeah, percent.
Hover over this link.
20 is kind of high.
A video more about how that works. But you're going to choose your equity percent. You're going to choose what interest rate, right, you want the loan to be at. And then your cash to seller, conservative, standard, aggressive. Again, for each one of these things, if you hover over them, you can click on a video that explains more about it. And then list source, you can pick if it's coming from PropStream, BatchLeads, or some of the other list features that we'll be adding. So make sure that you have all of those selections first and make sure that they are accurate, right? Especially if you're using PropStream, make sure it says PropStream. Then You're also going to do cash offers on this step. So the cash offer right here where it says don't forget cash offers, you're going to see these percentages going across the screen. That is the percent of the offer that you're going to be making on the deal. So 50% here, 55%, so on and so forth. If you guys don't know a lot about making offers, just leave it at the standard that we've already set for you guys. That's totally fine. Just leave it at that number and you'll be good to go. But if you want to change your offer, you want to make it higher or lower or whatever it might be, that's great too. Just go ahead and change that number in here. You know, we can make this.
So the cash offer.
It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
So whatever you want to make it is totally fine. These are the numbers that it's going to use to make your calculations on your LOI and on your screen. But once you have filled out the cash offers and you have made these selections, then you are good to go to at least start scanning your list. Now, a couple things for you guys to note when you're scanning your list. When you scan it, it's going to take a couple minutes. There's going to be a lot of moving around of data as it parses through everything and works everything out. So you can scan it and then just let it go. And when you're done, it's going to pop up in this leads tab and it's going to be highlighted in green. Okay. If it's highlighted in green, that means that it's a new lead. Okay. So it's
he had 100 on that list and he only has 8 leads.
You scan your list, it checks versus your old list to make sure that you haven't seen anything like that before so that you're not reaching out and contacting the same deals. Okay. So that's how the scanner works. Good luck. Jump into it.
Awesome. All right, let's jump into it then, just like you said. I'm going to close this and go check my parameters. It doesn't seem to have done much, if anything, to my list, except pop up that very useful pop-up that's reminding me to go to settings. That's actually very thoughtful. I wish more SaaS companies did stuff like that. Clearly they understand their user's journey. Okay. Property status. Let's go look at my list to figure out what even the status. I'm literally going to type Command F status and I only see the lead status. So I'm going to, there's so many columns. I'm just going to, okay, let's go manually look. Get out of here. Status. Like, is it active? I don't freaking know what I chose. I think these are not active because I remember in my video before, I think I said that these had expired within the last 3 days. So I'm going to assume that they're not, for this particular list, active. I'm going to say expired. Perfect. Max equity, 20. I'm thinking 20 is maybe a lot, so I'll just say 15 just to see what happens. Max interest rate, 5. Cash to seller, standard. List source, BatchLeads. I don't know if I have basic or plus. I'm using Kyle's because he gave me access because I'm part of his team now. So there's my settings, right? Let's go scan my list. LOI Blaster scan for low equity leads. Let's see what happens. Cross your fingers and hope it gives me something here. My list does not, this is pretty interesting. My list does not contain all of the required information. Okay, let's go take a look.
All right, so you're getting an error saying that you're missing information and you either don't know what that means or you feel like you have all the information.
Another thoughtful video.
You do not. So let me explain to you why this error is appearing. What this error looks for is all of the information required to run your list. So, for example, the city, the state, the mortgage balance, the agent, right? All of this information that you need to blast out your LOI. So if you look up here at the very top of a list, so you have to have a list imported, right? First. Once you have your list imported, at the top, you're going to see all these titles. These are the titles that it is looking for when it says something is missing. So when we talk about, if you go into the settings page and you look at this video on how to pull a list, you will see us talking about all the different exports that you need to have. But at the end of the day, when you look up here, this is where you're going to find if something's missing. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're missing the city, state, zip,
right,
the agent's name, the mortgage balance, whatever it may be, you have to make sure that all that information is in this top bar. If you are running this and it is telling you you're missing information, what it's telling you is that one of the headers it's looking for is not there. That is exactly what this code is doing. So one of the headers is missing. You either need to go back and export a proper list or make sure that you import it properly, because once all the headers are there, you will no longer see this error.
Okay. I thought I had all the headers. I don't know. Maybe I ran the script and it messed up some headers that I thought I had. I'm going to delete the sheet. I'm going to close this. I'm going to delete this sheet, bring in the list anew, and see what happens. Delete. Are you sure you want to delete this sheet? Yes. And then I'm going to go to, like, I guess dashboard or wherever I was before. I don't know if it matters. Okay, file, import. And then instead of create new sheet, I'm going to insert new sheet. Convert text to numbers. Is that what messed it up? Import data. Let's see what happens. There's the data. LOI Blaster. Scan for low equity leads. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Okay. From moron to millionaire. I'll tell you, the moron part is shining right now. Because look, listen. The list I had imported is an agent contact list. It did not include the properties at all. So I'm sitting there looking, okay, if it's not getting the data that it needs and it's filtering by these variables here, then it doesn't have all of these variables here. So I added this one artificially, and I'm like, oh, duh, of course, let's go look at the list. And it didn't have any of this stuff, like, because it wasn't a property list at all. So like my brain wasn't even thinking at all. Anyway, I went back to BatchLeads.io and logged in and generated, exported my property list, which I had saved in BatchLeads. I just hadn't exported it. So I exported my property list. There's 34 properties on there. Interestingly enough, there's 32 agents. So 2 of those are the same on the property list. And imported that. Now let's scan for low equity leads. Supposedly it's going to rearrange my data here. It's cool. Exception. The starting column of the range is too small. I don't even know what it's doing right now, if it's still doing stuff or what. I don't know why it says exception. The starting column of the range is too small. Okay. Should I double click this? There. Is it too small now? Details. Oh, really? Okay. LOI Blaster. Scan. Okay, so I should have put some of these in my leads, right? It didn't put any of them in my leads. That's interesting. What do I do? Scan it again? Let's see what happens. The starting column of the range is too small. So I'm going to dismiss. I'm going to Command Z just to put the list back how it was. Okay, I think that's how it was before. So do I even have an equity thing? Equity, what is this? Equity current estimated balance. So there is an equity balance in dollars. Now, is there a mortgage column? There's not. I spelled it wrong. There is. That's the lender, I assume. Yeah, the lender. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool. So where's the actual mortgage, like, remaining? Is that what they call it? Balance. Equity. Loan estimated balance. So if I'm not mistaken, then the script should be able to take the loan estimated balance, the loan equity, and do the math and figure the percentage of equity. Holy cow. Okay, let me just run the script again, see what happens. For low equity leads. Okay, so I was poking around trying different things, and I changed the settings to active and pending, from expired to active and pending. I changed the max equity to 30 and the max interest rate to 5, And it gave me 4 leads. So awesome. Let's generate. Where's the... I'm going to assume this is the agent. Look at that interest rate. The agent contact, not the homeowner, right? Okay, so what do we see? Interest rate, cool. Asking price. Oh, here we go. I like that 10. Look at that. But I don't like that there's no contact. Who's the contact? There's a phone. There's no email. Okay. Anyway, whatever. Cool. I'm just getting the mechanics of this whole thing, right? So, okay, LOI Blaster. What is this? Fill missing agent info. I don't know. What are they going to do? Skip trace the agent? Is it going to fill this in? I don't know how that even works. I don't even know if I used that word correctly. Finish script. Okay, cool. Generate them. Generate LOIs. That's the whole point we're here, right? Right. Wait, before you send LOIs, watch this video. They run, then run the function again. Okay, cool. A commercial, really? Holy cow. Get out of my face.
So it's time to generate LOIs. The first thing to note for generating LOIs is that you need to have new leads to generate LOIs for. So the way that we define that is anything that's highlighted in green. So if you have anything highlighted in green in your leads tab, which is what happens when a new lead comes in from scanning your list, then that is going to need an LOI. So if you go over here and you see attachment with all these blank spaces, that's where the LOIs are going to go. And all you need is these green leads, and then you need to click generate LOIs, and they will appear. However, we want to make sure that you're set up properly. So a couple tips for setting up. If you go to the bottom and you click on settings down here and you go to step 2, you're going to see that there is 4 little gray spaces here. This is what we're going to deal with in this video real quick to make sure you guys are set up. So PDF and documents folders, this is just folders inside of your Google Drive. So what you're going to do is you're going to jump over to Google Drive. Let me get that opened up. And you're just going to make 2 new folders. So you click on this little plus sign right here, new, right? Go new folder, and I'll call this one test docs, and I'll create it, and then I'll make another folder, and I'll call it test PDFs. So all you're doing is clicking new folder, give it a name. The name doesn't actually matter, and then click create. Okay, that's all you need to do there. Now, when you do that, they're going to pop up in your Google Drive somewhere.
Right.
You can see I do this a lot to make videos, so I've got a lot of them. But test docs and test PDFs. So let's take this test docs.
Okay.
We're going to click these 3 dots right here.
For the folder.
And we're going to go to share and then copy link. All right. Now we're going to go back over to the main page, and where it says documents folder, I'm just going to paste that link right in there.
Cool.
I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to test PDFs, the 3 dots, share, and copy link if I can get to it. And we're going to paste that into the PDF folder.
Cool.
So those are both now done, good to go. Now we have the 2 templates. So this LOI template is going to ask you to make a copy. So if you hover over this and you click on it, it's going to say, would you like to make a copy?
Okay.
We would like to make a copy. So we're going to click make a copy. Now it's going to make a version that you own instead of the one that is owned by us. And you can customize this. We'll teach you guys all about customization. But all you need to know here is you can go up here to the top right where it says share.
Okay.
Or you can go to file and share. Either of those work. And click share with others. And then just copy that link.
Right.
And you're going to delete the old link.
The template.
And paste the new one in there. Okay?
Yeah.
That's your LOI template. Same exact thing with the email template. It's going to ask if you want to make a copy. We're going to make it a copy.
Yeah.
I'll show you guys the other way to do it, where you go
Still
up here and
sure
click share.
What those first 2 folders are
link,
for.
And then you delete the old one and paste it in there. So once you get those 4 links in, the only other thing you need to do to check on is hover over it, and it should say you are the owner. So if we hover over each one of these, see how it says you are the owner? Let's hover over the next one. You are the owner. Next one, you are the owner. Next one, you are the owner. If it doesn't say that, then you are not going to have success running this. But if you have those 4 links inputted, you can see there's nothing else in step 2 for settings. So then we can go back here, and as long as you have some green leads, you're just going to go up here, click generate LOIs, and you'll be good to go.
Okay. Awesome. I'll go do that. All right. So here we see in this sheet that I made a folder for the PDFs and I made a folder for the documents. And then I copied, just like he said, I copied the thing and customized it and put in my own link here. So let's go to leads. They're all green, right? And let's generate, right? They're not generated yet. So let's generate those LOIs. Okay, so it just said invalid LOI template URL. Go to the settings tab on the bottom of your screen, right there, and add in your own URL. If you do not know how to set up for LOIs, visit this place and watch this video. If you're still, I think I know what happened. Google invited me to add this like thing where it's not actually the link. It inserts the title. So I'm going to insert just the link. Now I have the actual URL there instead of that like stand-in thing. I'm going to go to leads, LOI Blaster, generate LOIs. All right, it took about maybe just 10 seconds or so. And it says LOIs generated. Run again if you have more. Okay, so I assume when I click OK, it'll have links to the attachments? Question mark. There they go. Now LOI Blaster. Blast emails. Heck yeah. Let's just friggin' see what happens. Running script. Finished script. Wait, before you send emails, watch this video, then run the function again. So I'll just watch this video by myself and then recap. The reason it popped up, that mistake, whatever, is because it's guiding me. The video was guiding me to go put in, my name and my number that I want people to contact me on. So I'm going to put those in. Hello. And then go to leads and then blast emails. Obviously, it's not going to send an email to this guy because he doesn't have an email, but it's going to use the respective LOIs here that it generated for me and linked for me. Pretty smart tool, not going to lie. There's also no agent name, so I don't know what's going on with this one. I actually went and looked it up really quick to see if I could find an agent, but I couldn't find an agent, so I'm just going to blast this. So let's do it. Generate LOIs. Step 4, blast emails. Running script. And as you can see in my sent box, it is sending to those 3 people. That's all of them because the 4th one didn't have an email. So freaking awesome. I don't know if I did any of that right, but I did it, right? We did it, guys. So we did step 1, which was to get on BatchLeads, make a list, and export it. Step 2, which was to get the list into LOI Blaster, buy LOI Blaster, first of all, get the list into LOI Blaster and blast them out. Done. Step 3 is to wait for if these people respond. Now, this is only 3 people. In a perfect world, yeah, they all respond. They're all excited to sell their house to me and to Kyle. But in a realistic world, my list would probably have to be much bigger. First of all, better than my first list ever. And then second of all, a much bigger list with more meaningful parameters. And then we can start to actually put people on Kyle's calendar and help them out and, of course, make money. So there you go. If they, like when they reach back out and then I warm call them, I'll record that too if it happens before our next recording for the next episode. Awesome.
All right, John. I'm glad that we were able to watch that homework.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone else really appreciates you watching you in the action. That's where the action's taking place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It took a while. It took like 3 hours to record it all, like maybe probably more. And then, but the actual recording is like 35 minutes.
Okay.
The whole recording, So, but they probably saw a condensed version of that,
Yeah, interesting, right?
Nice.
So now you're in the weeds now, John.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're taking action now. Okay. Give me an overall quick assessment of how you're feeling and how you think it went.
So I learned so much along the way that I kept wanting to go do it better.
Okay.
To go back, but I'm like, no, I just had to finish the assignment,
Right.
just to go through the motions, right? Just to get it done. I can optimize it later.
Correct.
But I just need to send some out. And that was like the overarching, like,
That's huge, actually. I'm very glad that you learned that lesson because it's one of the biggest problems with newbies. Okay? Is they want to learn everything before they go and take action.
yeah.
Right? And then even when they go take action, it's really slow.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's, I got to do this perfectly. I got to do this perfectly. So it's like 1% done, 2% done. Oh, I messed that up. Let me back up and redo it. No. Where do you get experience from is repetition.
Is doing it.
Just do it, mess up, then go do it again. And guess what? It will be 10% better than it was before. Go do it again. Another 10% better. I love that you've already have realized that and you force yourself just to do it.
Yeah. At the very end, they're like to see them in my sent box. It's like, oh, then I realized done is perfect.
Yes.
So it's like, so that was like when I was like, oh, we're done. This is great.
John.
And then I can go optimize later.
Well said.
Yeah.
Done is perfect.
Done is perfect.
I like that. Everybody hear that? Oh my gosh, done is perfect.
That'll be the episode title.
Right?
No, I don't know.
I know, right? Wow. So good. Okay, so you feel way more comfortable with batch leads. Did you
Yes.
have any specific questions that you ran into with an obstacle on batch leads?
Before I started recording a lot of it, I watched like a half-hour video about it just to like get other people's perspective, just to like dive into the weeds of batch leads specifically.
Okay.
Along the way, and you'll see this, I had questions, but they were answered along the way.
Okay.
I think I get it generally. I'm certainly not an expert at batch leads, and I can't do everything, but I'm sort of becoming comfortable with like sourcing lists that are for a very specific purpose. Low equity,
Yes.
right, specifically. Low interest rate, right? High time on market, right? Whereas if I was going after like a seller finance deal, I wouldn't really understand the filters yet. I would have to work at it for an hour or 2 hours to really like understand what I'm after.
love it.
So, but for what I'm after right now, I feel
You felt
comfortable.
confident. Now that
Yeah.
you think about it, that was 2 weeks basically of
yeah.
playing, experimenting, and doing to where now you feel like ongoing, you can pull the list that you need, right? Because
Yeah.
every time you pull the list, there's going to be new
It's going to be new.
properties.
Because one of my parameters was, I believe in this list was that the listing, the MLS listing had expired within the preceding 3 days. So every 1 day, that list could churn 33%.
Yep. There's a lot of
list.
houses that expire.
Yeah.
So interesting. So cool. So that awesome. You feel comfortable with batch leads. You can now get that file. And then last time you had not done the LOI Blaster part yet. So now you have gotten LOI
Yeah.
Blaster. I know we just watched it.
Yeah.
Do you feel competent in the LOI Blaster?
Ish, yes. I feel like I can easily or more easily become competent and confident in LOI Blaster. What I really like about LOI Blaster, well, I'll get to that, but first I was a little bit confused, like because I saw the videos, it's like happening in Google Sheets,
Right.
And I'm like, what is this, a web app or a Google Sheets? Well, it's a Google Sheets, but it's like on steroids, like
Right.
all these scripts running in the background, and then they send info out to some outside provider that generates the LOI and stuff. So I was a little bit confused, but there's so much support. This might sound like a cheesy testimonial, but this is just my experience. There's so much like support along the way. The LOI Blaster is designed for you to just move forward, and they will catch you if you fall.
Right.
So to speak.
Awesome.
Like there's a video that pops up. Oh, here's what you did wrong. Da 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 by one of the co-founders.
Yeah.
And it's just nice. There's I guess for lack of a better phrase, safety nets along the way. So if you just trudge forward, the app itself, the app
you'll
experience,
fall.
yes.
You'll fall and you'll know exactly how to
Yeah.
fix that issue.
The app will pick you up. Yeah. And you'll see some things like the app wasn't specific enough to cover it. Like one thing I did in the homework was I had exported an agent contact list and expected it to generate LOIs, but there wasn't property associated with it. So you'll see, and you can laugh at me in the video,
yeah.
they'll see where it's like, okay, he's trying to, there's missing information. And the script says, hey, there's missing information with a video of how to fix it. I didn't know what the missing information was. Like, until finally I figured out, duh, it's an agent list that I exported from BatchLeads. I need to go export the same associated property list.
Yes.
Bring that in. And it was like a duh moment, a moron moment, right?
Yeah, but wow. I'm so happy that they've done a good job then with LOI Blasters,
Yes.
in other words, and giving a good testimonial. So anyone
Yeah.
else watching, we'll make sure we put a link down below for anyone that needs to go get LOI Blaster.
Yes.
Right?
Customer, like user experience, UX wise, and customer success experience is
Top
good.
notch.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Love hearing that. Love getting that feedback. So, okay, so those are the two softwares that you're basically using, right? For your position in the system that we had talked about. You're taking those two roles. We were treating as one, right? But it's the quote, doing the software part, right? Now, you sent them out, it said done. You sent out all of those emails to everyone on all the agents, right, on your list.
Yeah.
And you said, okay, you haven't gotten any responses back as of what? Yesterday?
This morning. Yeah.
As of this
yeah.
morning. Okay. When did you send them out?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
I sent out a
Okay,
list
so 24
yesterday.
hours.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll have to, of course, check back into it to see if anything comes from it. Now, if something doesn't come from it, well, first off, what do you think the expectation would be of response rate on something like this?
Between maybe 5 or 10%. I'm just guessing. 10 might be.
So
on
I
the
do
higher
know,
end.
I do
don't
know that some people can get as high as 20%.
Awesome.
That would be incredible.
Depending on market and quality of list.
Yeah. Every list is different.
Yeah.
Right? So of course it's going to vary.
And ability.
Yeah.
Of the
I do
list
know a
quality.
lot of people that are only getting 1 to 2 to 5%, right? And so if you're only getting 5% or less, you might want to really dive into your list criteria, right? On BatchLeads, be like, do I need to dial this down more? Because am I reaching people that aren't that motivated?
Here's the thing. I'm reaching the agent, right?
Right.
They might not be motivated by nature of the fact that they may have been fired by now because the listing is expired. Like, somewhat
Yeah.
recently, but still, like,
So you're
they
pulling a
might
very
have
unique
terminated.
list.
Yeah. So if I was to go back, I might say, okay, put it active, days on market 75 or something, but not expired, right? And of course, I'll make a million lists. I'll
Right.
go make one today,
Yep.
you know?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, most of the time I'm not doing expired listings the
yeah.
way you are, right? So very interesting. So you might be like, yeah, you know what? All of them are just mad that they got fired,
Maybe.
and
maybe,
maybe none of them will
Maybe.
respond.
Of course, I'm just making that up.
Or they
but-
might be motivated because, like, I just got fired. You know what? I could still call them right now if I get this. I might be able to save my commission
that deal.
that I just lost.
And the LOI itself says something like, look, I mean, even if we're not in it with this deal, let's build a relationship because
Right.
there's more deals. you
Right.
know.
So
They might be
interesting,
interested,
right?
you know.
So very much so. If it's 5% or less, I'd recommend going back to your list. Right? It's either batch leads with your list, right? Or are you having a deliverability problem with LOI Blaster, etc.?
Yeah.
Right? But it tells you all in there if it's been delivered and all that other stuff, right?
And it might be like a spam issue, right?
Correct.
I've sort of like assumed thus far that my emails are not going to their spam, right? Which so often with new domains, even with established domains, it just goes straight to spam until enough people signal to the email provider, in this case,
That your
I work
quality-
on Google Workspace, that your quality, this is not spam, and then,
Exactly.
so who knows? It could be a million things.
And the LOI Blaster community will be able to help and answer a lot of those issues.
Yeah,
help
and
you
there
with-
is a community. So when you're onboarded, they send you a big email with like 6 things that you have to do. You just have to do once to get it all set up. One of those things is join the community. It's a Facebook community. So I did that
Wonderful.
too.
And they'll walk you through it. So not just you have the videos in the software itself, but you
Yeah.
have the community to back you up and go get these questions answered. Or if you get
Yeah.
marked as spam, I know some people are like their emails got marked as spam
Mm-hmm.
because they were doing way too many with a brand new email.
Yeah.
Right? So there's all sorts of tricks and stuff to it. But wow, the efficiency of being able to reach out to that many people. And the key I can't stress enough is to target motivated people.
Okay.
Okay? That is super key. You are going to try to solve a problem.
Yeah.
If you take every once in a while, take a step back, John, and go, am I targeting people that I'm actually solving a problem?
Yes.
Because
right.
guess what? In business, you get paid to solve problems.
Right.
The moment you stop solving problems is the moment that in business you start losing money and not making money. Right? People will pay to solve problems all day long. Okay? And that's all we're doing. Right?
Yeah.
What's the problem? Sitting on market, in your case, it expired. They just went probably 6 months and never sold.
Yeah.
Do you think those people still wanted to sell? Absolutely. They just couldn't get what they wanted or needed.
Yeah.
Because of debt, they might not even had a choice to lower their price. So you're solving a problem.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So thank you for that recap. I think that's helpful for everyone watching as well. And I think for you thinking through this process,
Yeah.
I now feel like, okay, and you might still run into other questions, but this is why you have me and doing these kind of recordings and episodes and be able to reach out that where you still might have a question or get stuck in BatchLeads or LOI Blaster. But I would recommend be resourceful, try to use all the resources you have and in their community, and then you have me as well. Okay. So now as of this episode, we're done with those, talking about them, etc. I'm going to consider those kind of done. Okay.
And they're just going in the background.
You've got it moving forward. You need to keep pulling your list as needed, keep adjusting your list, and it's done from an educational standpoint and helping you, right? And getting that initial off the ground design done. Now it's just tweaks on your part and you'll have questions, things like that. Today, the rest of today's episode, I want to talk about the next step. You're waiting for someone to respond.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a warm response. You're not cold calling people.
No. Yeah.
Okay. So the second part is the appointment setter, which you're also going to do. So let's assume you get a response today. Okay. You're going to get, you will get a mix of emails and phone calls.
Yeah. So I have my phone on there.
Yep. Exactly. Some people will just call you and someone will email a response to you. So as an appointment setter, it's really easy and straightforward. Okay. One, you do want to get on the phone no matter what. Okay, if you can.
Because if they email me, I'm calling them. If they call me
Exactly.
and I somehow don't pick up, I'm calling them.
Exactly. Your response should always be a phone call if possible. Okay. Now, if they don't answer, go ahead and respond an email. Okay. And your whole goal is just to set up an appointment. Okay. But, and I mentioned this, I know I've mentioned this I think to you, but I don't know if I did on an episode, but when you are setting up this appointment, what value do you think you're bringing from that position?
To the agent.
To the agent first.
They could be freaked out and stressed that they haven't sold this dang house.
Okay.
So they want a deal. That's the value. I'm bringing like an exit strategy for them, I guess, on behalf of their client. But what value is to dispose of the house? Right.
So you're bringing something that maybe they haven't thought of or know about, or maybe they've heard about it, but honestly, it's your job to try to get an appointment, find them in a moment of motivation where they're willing to get on the appointment to actually learn enough to find out if it's a good fit, right? What value do you think you're bringing to someone like me? Because in this scenario, I'm the closer. I'm the one that's going to be taking these phone calls for you. Okay. But anyone else, they could be on the No One Left Behind challenge and they'll be setting it up for somebody else that's closing and calling those appointments. What value do you think they're bringing for that person?
The appointment setter.
Yep.
Is bringing situational like awareness, like that's not
Be more
quite
specific.
right. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I know their numbers. You know their numbers. Until we call them, we do not know their situation, and so I guess it gives context to the closer when I call.
Okay.
A warm call.
Okay. How much,
to
if
their
this is a
situation.
good question, I haven't given you the answer to some of these questions. How much information do you think you should be gathering?
Okay. I don't know, actually. Yeah. Well, the whole point, you said it's very easy, the appointment setter. The whole point is to set an appointment.
Yes.
Right? So beyond that, I don't know, maybe zero information. I don't know.
Excellent. Excellent answer. I want to make sure everyone heard that. Okay? This is not, and the biggest mistake people make is they gather way too much information on this initial call.
Okay.
Literally, this call should be as simple as, "Hi, Sally. I got your email back from, the LOI, the soft offer that we had sent over to you. I'm just calling to go ahead and get you on the calendar for Kyle." Right? So he can explain kind of more in detail about what these offers are, right? Because, and which one by chance piqued your interest the most? If you wanted to
Which
ask.
offer?
Yeah, which offer? Because for anyone that doesn't quite remember or maybe hasn't seen them, every LOI, right, that you're sending out has a cash offer and a creative offer.
Yes.
Right? So there's 2 options for them. So you don't even have to ask that question.
Yeah.
That's just like a bonus question that sometimes if you want to throw out a question, that would be like the only question I ask.
Yeah.
Right? Would be, oh, well, which one did, are you thinking would be a good fit? Okay?
And maybe even after they're on the calendar, like, would 3 o'clock work? Okay, yes. Okay. Which offer? Yeah.
Because guess what? How many questions and how much information should you ask? The answer is, what does it take to get them on the calendar?
The minimum that it takes to get them on the calendar.
No further questions, not just required, but no further questions needed or wanted.
Because it might biff the whole situation.
Absolutely. For 2 things. One, you might say the wrong answer. However, you actually might say the right answer. How might the right answer actually be a problem in that phone call?
What do you mean, right answer? Their answer?
Yeah. What if they asked you a question that wasn't required to set up an appointment?
Sure.
And you spit out the right answer and you answered their question. And they're like, John, that was amazing.
I can't deliver on the wrong or right answer.
You can't deliver. Interesting.
Because I'm just at that point acting as the appointment setter.
As the appointment setter. And
that's all
reality,
downstream.
There are lost possibilities that happen. These opportunities are squandered sometimes.
Because they come in expecting X. They come into the appointment expecting X when there's also Y and Z that could be on the table, but they're already.
Well, and we're all emotional. You're solving a problem. What if that was the one what if what you answered was the key that solved the problem, but you are not in that moment. You are incapable of helping them take the next step.
Yeah.
Right? And now it's squandered, and they feel like they got their answer, but they actually lost interest because they were unable to take the next step.
I could use it as a tease. I could say, actually, that's one of the things I wanted Kyle to talk with you about.
Absolutely.
How's 3 o'clock tomorrow?
Yes, it's actually, yes. So this is, yes, it's designed this way to help newbies trying to, hey, what's the easiest thing to do is just jump on the phone and set up an appointment. But it's also set up to accomplish other things, as use it as a tee to set up the next person. It's not, you could know everything. I could make these phone calls and I would not want to answer all these additional questions.
They're not qualified to even talk about it yet.
And I'm not going to do that in that moment.
Yeah.
Right? It's not the right time. The other thing that you're doing is you're setting up the closer. Okay? You're making actually the closer look more important. Right? They don't have enough time to be making these initial calls.
Yeah.
Right? They can't just, they can't just pick any time that the agent wants. Yeah, call me at 10. No, this isn't based on the agent's calendar, even though it does have to line up.
Yeah.
It's really, we're making
But it's the presentation.
It's the presentation of saying, look how busy this Kyle is. He doesn't have time. He only has a couple slots open.
Yeah.
And you're going to basically, you want to give them like 2 chances. You want to be like, hey, okay, actually he could do a 2 or a 3:30.
Yeah.
Which one works best for you? Oh, that day doesn't work? Okay. Oof. Let's see. I know he has quite a bit the next day too. Let me look. Right? And then what are you, okay, and figure that out, right? But your whole goal is to prop up the closer, right? To make that, because that changes the atmosphere of the call, right? Because that closer is the expert.
Yeah.
Right? And we're going there to help solve their problem. So you can see it's absolutely critical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? Because I
the
get
positioning, like put the closer up.
Right. I get new people that, what value am I bringing? I'm brand new to real estate. How can I make money? I don't know anything. I can't. They'd be like, John, you telling me, Kyle, why should you pay me anything? And is it okay to do a couple first deals and not get paid nothing? Absolutely.
They have to understand. Yeah.
You're getting paid in education, right? A lot of times. However, past that idea, why would someone have a need for you? Would be, well, you're bringing something of value to the table. You're setting me up. You're giving appointments. Guess what? If we get a deal, I'm going to make money too.
Right. If a closer doesn't want to sit at his desk during closer time and have no appointments.
Right.
Like, that'd be cool, I guess. But you're not going to have any appointments.
Right. Now, I do have other things and other appointments on my calendar, right? But if you were trying to get in here, you chose, once again, bringing back on the previous episode, episode 2, the whole system, you chose where you wanted to sit and do. What if I was a closer and I had no other experience? I'm like, I'm going to close. I wouldn't have any appointments on my calendar. I need someone to go and do the lead generation and the appointment setting for me, right? So they need you, John.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone, they need you. So go join the No One Left Behind Challenge, NOLBchallenge.com. Go reach out, go network, connect with someone like me. That is the next thing. So, John, did that give you a good idea of what you should be saying on the phone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's very minimal. I had a little script in my mind, and we talked about this in one of the prior episodes. Simple, right? But I could have easily been the one that goes and gets all this information that I don't need, and they don't need to answer, and they don't need it. They don't need to ask, and they don't need it answered.
Nope. And that's it.
Yeah.
This is it. So that's all you need to do. You're going to get responses from the email or a phone call. If you don't, you need to go figure out why.
Yeah.
Okay? But once you get those, you just literally set up the appointment. Right? Are there any questions on that?
Nope. Yes. I guess you talked last time about a link that I could get to actually set the appointment.
Yep.
I guess I'll ask you about that when it becomes an issue.
Yep. I'll go ahead and just give you that link, okay? But that's just the systems behind the scenes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Really, of setting that up, because even if I don't give you that, you could find out a time and
then
text me and
hey,
we can go back
you have
and
a 3
forth.
o'clock tomorrow.
But
Can
we're
you do
gonna
it?
just be more efficient than that, right?
Yeah.
So you can easily get that set up. So perfect. All right. I think you and everyone listening, John, do you feel ready for this next step?
I'm excited. So I'm excited to blast, like do that whole thing again, get a better list, blast it out again, and see what happens. Yeah.
Yep. It's repetition and pushing yourself to the next level. And you got to start having these conversations. You're going to find setting up these appointments, you get enough after just even a couple days. If you can get good responses, you're going to feel so confident on setting up these appointments.
Awesome.
Right now, actually, the NOLB challenge is actually live right now by chance this week, right?
Like it's literally right now when we're taping, right?
These days, exactly,
There's
these
a
days.
live right now. Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, so people should be going and watching that, but also people doing exactly what you're doing. And there's a group, in Pace's team at least, there's a group of like 10 newbies calling. Those 10 newbies, they set enough appointments for 3 days for Pace in 1 day. That's how quickly you can get appointments and learn, and they have never done this before. Right?
And they're setting.
And they're setting appointments.
Yeah.
Right? So absolutely phenomenal, John. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming back.
I love it, man.
You feel like you're making progress?
Yes. I'm excited about this. Yes.
Okay. Next week is going to be interesting. I can't wait. So
Okay.
you know your homework. You know what you need to do. Everyone else, go and do it. Thanks for hanging out. Till the next time.